This is not what Anthony Edwards was supposed to be doing.
After fire, Edwards got it off in time. Cash money!
But time and time again, Anthony Edwards is proving to the entire world that shots like these aren't flukes. Anthony Edwards isn't just a good shooter, he has established himself as one of the best shooters in the NBA. And when I mean one of the best, it wasn't Steph Curry or Damian Lillard or Klay Thompson who led the NBA in three-point makes this season. It was Anthony Edwards. You heard me, the same guy capable of doing things like this.
Oh my goodness! Edwards!
This guy has reached a level of shot making that I don't think anyone thought was possible. And when you pair this level of shooting with an improved level of playmaking, freakish athleticism, and a level of confidence that can't be matched,
took 3 points for a long time in the quarter. It's crazy.
well, you get one of the best players in the world, and that's no exaggeration. And we saw all of this improvement in Anthony Edwards' game culminate in a massive performance in the Timberwolves' biggest game of the season so far. A must-win game against the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis with playoff seeding on the line. And Ant put on a show, going off for 44 points on just 19 shots, hitting 7 of his 11 threes, before then taking care of business against the Nets and Jazz, including knocking down 7 threes in the game against Utah to beat out Malik Beasley for the most total threes of the season. But it was this game against Memphis that mattered the most, and it was Ant who delivered, as he always seems to do when it matters most. Watch him here get things started with Randall backing down Desmond Bane. Vince Williams loses sight of him, so he relocates to the wing and knocks it down. A minute later, you get to see the difference in Ant's game. He gets the screen from Rudy, and with 80 in drop coverage, he comfortably walks into that 3. And it's pick your poison with Ant, because if you sag off like 80 did, he's pulling up in your face. But on this play, with Jaren right up in his face to prevent the 3, Ant is comfortable getting into his bag, forcing Jaren right before spinning back inside and then finishing smartly. And we saw everything from this game versus Memphis. You had him coming off screens from out of bounds plays and knocking down threes like he's Kyle Korver. And at this point, he just started to get in his bag, bringing the ball up the floor between the legs on Aldama before getting the screen from Rudy. And Zach Edey is going to have to learn. You can't play drop coverage against Anthony Edwards, but I'm not exactly sure what you can do against Anthony Edwards, because with Santi Aldama trying to get in his face to prevent the 3, he just sizes him up like he's gonna drive past him, and it's just a nasty ability to stop on a dime and knock down the 3. And if you thought that was nasty,
His arms.
I thought he got fouled.
Edwards for 3. Okay.
I mean, that's just outrageous. Just look at the entire bench. You have Joe Ingles, who is 40 years old and has seen everything, in disbelief at Ant going behind the back into a spin move and a pull-up 3. And it's that level of shot making which has Ant doing things that none of us could have ever predicted. I told you he led the league in threes this season, but just to put this level of shooting into perspective, over the course of NBA history, there have been 5 players to make 300 threes in a season. Steph Curry, 6 times, James Harden, Klay Thompson, Malik Beasley, and Anthony Edwards. Damian Lillard, who we would all consider one of the greatest shooters ever, he has had one season where he has shot above 39.1% from 3. Ant has matched the best shooting of Dame's career from a volume and an efficiency standpoint. Let that sink in for a second. The guy who is capable of doing things like this, that guy is on track to have a shooting season on par with the best shooting season of one of the greatest shooters ever, and it's on par with some of the greatest shooting seasons ever, full stop. The difference is, those other guys like Steph Curry, like Buddy Hield, like Damian Lillard, Klay Thompson, they weren't able to do the things Ant can do physically, but he has somehow managed to blend this physicality, this unique handle and deceleration ability with incredible shooting. And let me emphasize, this was never supposed to happen. Coming out of college, Ant's biggest weakness was seen as his shooting 29% from 3 his one season in college, suggesting he was a player who settled build for jumpers, and despite improvements his first few years in the league, he still wasn't anywhere near an elite shooter, because if we look back to his first 4 years of his NBA career, he shot 35% from 3 on over 7 attempts, which is okay when you consider the difficulty of shots, but we always thought that the 3 ball would just be a way to open up driving lanes for Ant to use his physicality and gifts, which it still is, but it has now turned into his most dangerous weapon. And some people will tell you he's shooting too many threes. There is no world in which Anthony Edwards could possibly take too many threes right now. The only reason people are mentioning that is because of his size and athleticism. And I know that kind of sounds contradictory, but if he was a smaller guard, we would be talking about this as one of the greatest shooting seasons ever, and if anything, people would be telling him to take more threes. And it's not like he's only taking threes. There's a different pace he's been playing at this year, using his size and his handle, not just to bully players or drive downhill like peak LeBron, but also using that threat of his speed to freeze defenders. And one thing about Ant that has been apparent since he entered the league is his footwork. Just look at him here past half court against numerous Rockets defenders. He hits Amen Thompson with an in and out and then a hezi before then Euro stepping around Şengün and then the slow step to have Amen fly by. I mean, that's just special stuff. Or how about a play like this from last year against the Pistons, where it is pivot after pivot after pivot after pivot before eventually spinning back for the fadeaway jumper. Look at him on this play against the Rockets. Look at the cross between the legs to split the double and then the low dribble before the Euro step around the help defense at the rim and the finish. It's just so smooth, so effortless, so clean. When you have a bag this deep, it's no wonder that you enter talks as one of the best scorers in the league, and that's exactly where Ant is right now, because since January 1st, he's averaged 29.5 points per game, nearly 6 boards and 5 assists on 60% true shooting, which is nothing short of elite. And this is without mentioning his improved playmaking, becoming one of the most blitz players in the NBA. And whilst he might not be one of the best playmakers in the league, his gravity is a huge reason for the Wolves being the 5th ranked offense in the league since January, and the 8th ranked offense on the season. And another thing about Ant that goes beyond his shooting, his athleticism, his skill, is his leadership. We've all seen and heard the quotes, like just a few days ago when he said this about Kyrie's shot in the finals.
A shot like that in Game 7 NBA Finals. Kyrie was calm about it. If I hit some shit like that, you know what I'm doing. Don't let the buzzer be, I might pull my pen out on their ass.
But not only is he hilarious, he's one of the best leaders in the NBA, and I think we need to make sure we realize both can be the case. We saw it last year and over the few years with Karl Anthony Towns picking him up, Rudy Gobert, countless examples. I mean, just over a couple of weeks ago after a dominant second half against Denver, in which he willed the Timberwolves to a victory over the Nuggets in a must-win game, he didn't care to take the credit, but instead was looking to give that credit to Nickeil Alexander-Walker after the game.
He made big shots for us all night long, every quarter. Whenever we needed it, he came through in the clutch. He made the right plays. He was poised down the stretch. So whatever I did don't matter. What he did, he was the MVP tonight.
Everything about Anthony Edwards' game, from the skill to the leadership to the athleticism to the entertainment, is absolutely amazing. And right now, he is one of the best players in the league, and he is doing it in a way that I don't think any of us could have seen coming. Now, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, consider subscribing. Dropping a like on the video would be cool. Most importantly, have a great day.